All right, David. So here's just a couple examples how you can use these worksheets or the reports that I send out. So this report is the new well permits report. We can look at the different areas that we have at districts that we've broken out. So let's say that in the Eagleford, down in that Karnes County is somewhere that you're interested in taking a look at. You've got kind of a couple different choices here. You've got the bigger guys that are drilling lots of wells, and then you have the smaller guys that are potentially or they're drilling less wells. Some of the things that we want to use the data to help us, be a little bit more contextual the way that we're talking to them. So if I was gonna send one of these guys an email, I might say something like, "Hey, I see in the Kennedy area, you've got a couple of new wells. The lease is the Julie Beck lease. I just want to talk to you a little bit about your power requirements there." In the case of this teal operating, what I typically would do is maybe use some of the contact data that we have here associated with it. So there's teal operating, and might be a little bit tough to find some data. So I can see their domain matches, and then when I come over to their website, I can then come over and I can search that particular domain, and then lo and behold, I come down and I get to the area where we've got our leadership associated with it. So I can also look at that email and I can get a good idea of what each one of these person's emails are. And then I can send them a quick note and say, "Hey, I see you're drilling a couple wells. Just wondering if you have any requirements for generators. Are you gonna, do you need power temporarily to a lease? Do you want to rent? Do you want to buy? Those types of things." And I can document all that into my CRM. On the larger companies that we are taking a look at here, just used as an example, if we come down here into this next section, and I could say, okay, well, I'm interested in the Summit Petroleum guys. I see them, quite a bit on the reports. They're drilling lots of wells, so on and so forth. I can then come over here to my LinkedIn, and then I can do a couple different things. What I like to do is first thing is I want to just search the account and then see how many people there's. So I'm going to just change this here to companies, and then let's just go in and do a search on the Summit Petroleum. So there we go. And I take a look. They got 25 employees. I can click that. I've got the free version of LinkedIn. It's not showing me all the employees, but it's giving me a sample. But I'll come back up here and I'll put this in and I'll say engineer, and let's see who they have from an engineering perspective. So there is the operations manager, and that would have been the second search that I would look for. So I've got Jason's. I got an operations manager. Again, I'm going to say, hey, I can click into this. I got multiple ways to talk to him. One of the things that I find interesting here, as well as it says, hey, here's some our mutual connections. So let's go in and I'm going to look at my mutual connections with this particular individual, and then see if there's anybody here that might be associated to the power industry. So give me an idea of somebody that I might want to speak to, or might use as a reference on that side of it. Again, I've got the guy's name, that Jason. I can come back here over to the sheet that I provided you, and then we can take a look here and see. In this particular case, unfortunately, I can't help you on that side of it, but there's other ways to look at it. We've got a Gmail, so we don't have the actual domain on that. But you can work your way through. You can send them an email message, see if you can start a dialogue. So the drilling reports, so here's the new well licenses. We also have the drilling ones. They're broken out by areas. Pretty easy for us. We look at the big guys who are drilling consistently, and then let's work our way through and be specific around engineers, around the top operations people. And then the other report that we have is, here's the pipeline report. And then here in the yellow are the new pipelines, or we can have pipeline additions. Again, pretty simple. I'm going to go to Eagle Claw. I can take a look at that, see how many people they have on LinkedIn. But in this particular case, I know they've got a few, so I'm going to just type in engineer, and let's just take a look at the different engineering contacts that we have. So here's a project engineer, some different project engineers come in and take a quick look, and then 36 mutual connections. So we've got a guy that's pretty well connected. And then when I come in here and I take a look at some of the people, natural gas turbine generators, compression. So those are good, potential contacts for me, or, indicators this might be the right guy. And in that case, again, I don't have the domain for this particular account, but I can message him directly through LinkedIn, or I can figure out what his email address and send him out an email. So hopefully that shows you how you can use either the well permit report to quickly come in and identify what's going on. And we also have the new wells drilled, or we can look at the pipeline report and then reach out to these people and talk to them about potential generator requirements.